Hello and welcome to a special Mindshare TV Sneak Peek podcast as we gear up for the 16th Canadian EdTech AI Summit happening October 29th and 30th at the University of Toronto, Mississauga, the birthplace of modern AI, and Dr. Hinton, Professor Emeritus. I'm your host, Robert Marglanchi, Chair of the Summit and co-founder of CEO of C21 Canada and Mindshare Learning Media. Today, I'm thrilled to be joined by a remarkable Canadian education leader, Rashmi Swarup, who is the Director of Education and CEO at the Peel District School Board and a proud member of the CEO Academy and a presenting partner in our 16th Canadian EdTech AI Summit. Rashmi will be delivering her opening keynote entitled Empowering Students, Staff, and Community, Human-Centered Leadership in an AI-Inspired World, with a long-standing commitment to equity, innovation, and system transformation. She's leading one of the largest, second largest, and most diverse school districts at a pivotal time in education. We love having your co-op students. Rashmi, thank you for joining us today.
Thank you, Robert, and thanks so much for having me. I'm super excited to be speaking at the EdTech conference this year and looking forward to connecting with educators, leaders, and innovators, all of us who are so passionate about the direction of the future of learning.
Absolutely. I like to say it's never been a more exciting time to be in education. And this marks almost my 40th year, having been in post-secondary education administration and then in K-12. We just continue to make tremendous strides. Although my one hashtag word for 2025 is complexity. And no doubt you embrace that every day. So talk to me about what inspired the theme and why is this so important right now?
Well, you know what? When you think of the theme, we are talking about human centered learning. And so, education, when we think about, as leaders, it's about service. And who are we serving? So, students, staff, and communities. And I always say we are preparing our students to be confident, capable, and caring citizens in a global world. And we are all fully aware, as you said, the complexity and AI as a tool, but never forget that the connection is humanity. So the theme has to center around humanity because equity is foundational to all we do. And so AI has to enhance learning for every student, especially the most marginalized. Because always the important question to ask is who's being served and who's not? And how are we going to reduce the barriers and not widen the gap? So keeping humanity at the center, thinking of students, staff who needs to feel supported and prepared to navigate AI ethically and with confidence, and then building community trust. So I really feel that human centering is the most important thing.
I love that you embrace the notion of servant leadership, Rashmi. Kudos to you for that. What inspired that? You must have a number of mentors along the way.
We never reach anywhere without mentors because it's so important to learn with people with wisdom and experience. But education, we always have to remember how we are different from any other
Mhm.
corporate world, though in some ways education also is a business because it's a business where we serve students. We have to have our, clear planning, accountability. So definitely it was always about who is in front of us? What is my role? So it's always thinking about that service piece and making a difference to every child, empowering every student, staff, and system leader really helps, goes a long way. So you cannot lead without serving. Education is totally, that's when you make a difference and you see the impact.
Well said. As director of one of Canada's largest school districts, how are you balancing innovation in AI with your commitment to equity, inclusion, and student well-being?
So that is the complexity that you mentioned earlier, because you always have to find that fine balance. Because in today's world, we can't say, oh, this is something new, we are not going to look at it. But we know that's where the world is going. And so, how are we going to find that balance? I find it's important to connect through networks like, Mindshare Learning, through leaders across Canada, through partners post-secondary, colleagues, to be able to come together and have that collective thought leadership into how we are going to serve. But important, very importantly, privacy, student safety, right? Again, equitable access. You talked about inclusion. So it becomes so very important that we do things, but we set the framework. So in Peels, it's so important that we began with an AI interim guidance to guide all of us, because you want to set students in a way, staff in a way, where they know that they will be safe, protected, and make use of AI in a way that best serves them. So we,
Fascinating. Well said. So you've been in this sector many years, and how would you equate where we are today? I think back to the advent of the internet. I was sport information director. I studied sport management in my previous career, and we had no computers, we had no internet, and I lived through that. And there are some parallels, similarities, but this is different. And Tom D'Amico, our fine fellow CEO Academy member from formerly of Ottawa, now recently retired, who's really embraced AI, talked about the advent of the book, like he like game changing. How Talk to me about where you see us at today, because we're really at our infancy. It's like when we first got on a computer or the internet, but even more impacting education around the complexity of figuring out how to integrate AI on a daily basis, because it's happening around us. The students are using it, the teachers are using it. In Australia, I saw a study that was reported yesterday. 75% of teachers in Australia are using AI currently, according to one study. And I just, every day it's just moving so fast. And one of the things, so Diraj from Learn It interviewed me recently, and he asked me, what has changed in your mind about where we're at? And I said, as fast as AI is moving, education systems can't absorb that speed. So
correct.
you have to go slow to move fast.
Yeah,
Thoughts?
yes. No, you said it, because you can't rush into something. And I think making baby steps, small steps, is the way to move forward, because then you keep improving. You see what you need to do. What is the impact of what you're doing in small steps? But the world today is very different, Robert, from the time, we talk about the textbook era. While textbooks still exist, but now parallel to that is all the technology that kids have at hand. And so while they were not so exposed to things and have that instant access globally, connect anywhere, what is happening now, while they're connected, I feel they're isolated because they're connected only with their device. And
Mm,
there are people on the device, but that's not the whole human touch, kindness, face to face.
right.
And so that has, made a difference. And so our role as educators is to keep reminding our students that how we work with them is that the device is there, but that human connection. So that is I would say, the complex part of today's education is it's very simplistic to say, okay, go find this, go use this, do the research paper, write this, use AI, but also to keep them grounded on, what really matters is the kindness, the care, the connections. And so that is the balance that all the
Mhm.
time we must strike. And that, as a leader, is my focus. And every time I talk to senior leaders, principals, that do not forget that, because sometimes when we rush into one direction,
Mhm.
we kind of sidetrack where we were, but we have to build on that.
Yes, well said. So, Peel District School Board is, we're thrilled to have as a presenting partner of this year's summit. Can you share a glimpse into the kinds of AI or EdTech innovations your team will be exploring or implementing? I know we're going to have one of your student teams in the startup Dragons Den Startup Challenge, and You've got a playground that you'll be part of. So talk to me a little bit about what our delegates might expect.
So it's such an exciting opportunity to be a presenting partner. And in Peel, what I want to say is that we are exploring, we are on a journey. And so capacity building is important. And I know our students and staff will do amazing to showcase the work we are doing. But showcase means learning from others as well. So always thinking about the equity focused innovations must ensure inclusive access and participation. And we have amazing staff and students who are creating apps, doing things in the area of environmental sustainability, and so on. There's so much to talk about, but given the fact that we are doing not only top-down approach but grassroots up, so students and staff in school it's very student centered, staff led, and system supported. And the way we support it through whatever ways we can, training, learning, funding. But we have our leap projects that schools participate in. So I can give you so many examples, but I'll just give a brief example of students at Elm Drive Public School. They developed an
Mhm.
AI enabled recycling project. they
Wow.
train they train an AI system using Microsoft tools and microbits to identify different materials and to sort recyclables. So this built not only their capacity in STEM and sustainability, but it leads to broader conversations about responsible use of AI in environmental problem solving. So this is one example how we are leveraging AI in authentic student-driven innovation projects.
Incredible. And kudos. One of your schools in Brampton won our national Schools of the Future Student Innovation Challenge, aligned with the SDGs. And the middle school created this smart city. The
Oh
teach
goodness.
and how incredible to see this. And at your showcase that we were at, that I was invited to attend, they created this miniature replica city infusing sustainability around electricity and water, etc. Food insecurity, dealing with food insecurity and equity and education. And that when you give kids agency, talk to me about the importance of giving kids agency, like we do here when I have your co-op students come in and we have them do the same work we do, and then they go out and they flourish as students. And you know, case in point, I was going to mention two graduates from John Fraser. I use the Flip app for shopping, as do others. Those are John Fraser graduates that created that Flip app that went to Waterloo University, became engineers, and created that innovation. That's what you're nurturing, and kudos to you for that. How does that make you feel?
Oh my gosh, my heart fills with pride all the time, all the time. This weekend, at the University of Waterloo, a competition. Our students from Humberview Humberview Secondary School, they won the first prize in their EV vehicle they had made for robotics.
No, we got to get that in today's Mindshare report that's going out.
Yes, please. It's
That's
it's just incredible.
I
And
would
then
love to have that on display at the summit. That would be so cool.
Okay, no, we have a beautiful picture of the EV vehicle, but also at the same time, right now we have a student who's presenting to adults in Dubai on an app on how to, track Alzheimer's early on.
Oh, wow.
And he's kind of done all the algorithms and how much dollars it'll save at the time, but how it'll reduce, the impact of Alzheimer's as it progresses. I can't believe it. Like these kids are incredible.
Remarkable.
Yeah.
Remarkable. Well, with that, I know we're getting to the end of the show here, so I want to just chime in with a couple more questions. Like get back to your day-to-day duties as director and CEO at Peel District School Board. What role does community voice play in shaping your district's approach to future-ready learning and digital transformation?
That is an area that I always talk to the team that how are we collaborating with community? Because it's very important to build community trust. Because again, they are also exploring AI in their own different worlds. So the one thing is we have what is called a parent involvement committee. Uh,
Mhm.
and so we had our innovation team present to them in their monthly meeting. And so many of them stepped up to say, we want to be part, we want to collaborate, provide input. And so we are going to set up a group like that. So to work even closely with them because they are the voice of the Peel students and families. And those human relationships are so important. But at the same time, when you talk of community, we have community agencies, we have the regional, departments that are doing work. So we want to collaborate at all levels of the organization, wherever
Mhm.
the community, but families, but community agencies, because together that's the way to move forward.
Wonderful. How are you supporting educators and staff to feel empowered rather than overwhelmed? Because they have a lot of coming at them uh, by integration of AI in the classroom and leadership. I saw a stat. I couldn't believe the number of apps a teacher will use in a week. It's upwards of 100 different apps. Incredible. How do you help make them feel empowered rather than overwhelmed?
You know what? When you have thousands of staff, they're on a scale, right? And they're on a continuum of their learning. As you said, some may be using so many apps and some may be reluctant. So how do we address both ends of the spectrum?
Hmm.
Where there's a, racing to adopt and one is a fear of adopting. So how do you strike the balance by saying, it's okay to be where you are? So what we
Right.
always say is start small, scale wisely. So the teams go into schools, they do drop-ins that, this week, 1 hour you can drop in to learn about this. So we are creating an environment where it's not mandated, where it's a training. Because after training, what's the follow-up? So always thinking of their well-being too and saying it's okay at the pace you're learning. And then when you develop capacity in every school, and we have a lead in every school for empowering modern learners. So slowly and steadily, you don't apply that much pressure. You'll find that they start joining in. Let me see what's happening, how we can pick up. So I am confident that our staff, wherever they are moving forward. So one thing is to have the open mind that I need to see how I can help my students with this tool and learn myself.
Speaking of staff and your leadership team, it's been such a pleasure to collaborate with Bernadette Smith, your superintendent of AI innovation and pathways. She's got to have one of the coolest titles, probably the first title in Canada that embeds AI in it, which that makes a statement about your leadership as a director. What advice do you offer other leaders in embracing this journey that we're on, infusing AI equitably in humanly?
Yes, and you know what? We have a great system leader in Bernadette and her team, and all our other superintendents, amazingly, are all integrating AI, whether it's special education curriculum and so on. But the fact of the matter is that we deliberately renamed the department because you have to send a message across.
Yeah,
So that is why this is a new name, and we are very proud of that. That we need
yeah.
to send the message across.
And thank you for being part of the C21 Canada Dell AI use case projects. There's three of them that came out of Peel District School Board
Yes.
that we're sharing, that we'll be uh, discussing and presenting uh, at the Cross Canada Checkup Panel. So we're looking forward to having not only you as well as your team, leaders and teachers. It really takes a village to transform education, and having the full representation of the ecosystem, a
Yes.
stakeholder group, is my philosophy. So, finally, with that, what are you most looking forward to at this year's Canadian EdTech AI Summit? What's your message to fellow education leaders, teachers, and innovators who are considering attending?
You know what? It's one of those summits where I think people are coming to see where are we going together across Canada. So I think first of all, it's going to inspire a lot of reflection, deep thinking of the role of human-centered leadership. I would say collaborating widely, engaging educators, parents, students, communities to co-create sustainable solutions will be important. And also then, thinking is not enough, collaboration and then driving action. So how will this, amazing summit empower the attendees when they leave with some next steps for leading this ethical and
Mhm.
innovative change?
With that, Rashmi Swarup, Director and CEO of the Peel District School Board, your visionary leadership and for setting the tone of our summit with such an inspiring message. We can't wait to hear your full keynote live on October 30th. And to our viewers and listeners, don't miss this opportunity to join us for what promises to be one of the most impactful gatherings of the year at the Canadian EdTech AI Summit, October 29th, 30th at the University of Toronto. My name is Robert Mardlacci. Be sure to check out www.mindshare.learning and c21canada.org for more information. And until next time, stay healthy, stay safe, and keep the learning curve steep.